Alright folks, I'm Daniel, welcome back to the Jet Fuel Only channel, and this is finally the last episode of that 70s garage rebuild series where I take the 70s garage of my house I got 8 months ago and transformed it into something that I'm happy with and of course that the cars are happy with. Now if you haven't been following along, you can check out the whole playlist. I'll have a link right up here as well as one down in the description and at the end of this episode. Alright, so in the last episode where I left you, we had all the drywall in and we got the garage painted. We did the gray walls, the flat black ceiling, it was looking good, but there were 3 more things to do still. One was get the Swisstrax flooring installed, get the overhead lighting installed, and lastly get the cabinets in place and fully organized. Have to admit, the organization part is why this video is a little late. It's taken me quite a long time, but I'm finally ready to show you. So how about we check it out? Here it is. I'm super excited to share it with you and have it in future YouTube episodes. So how about we get started with some nice before and after footage of this garage so we can truly appreciate what we see here. After that, I'm going to share with you the things we got done since the last video, give my review and how I set up my Husky garage cabinets, as well as tell you some of the things that I regret doing and don't regret doing, and so those will serve as good tips for you if you're looking to improve your garage setup as well. So let's check out the before and afters. So the biggest change obviously to the whole garage is the flooring that we installed. This is the Swisstrax flooring. It's an easy system of just tiles that you put down. It only took me about an hour, maybe a little more, to lay down about 90% of it on my own. And then the part that took the longest, of course, is cutting the pieces to fit up against the edges of the garage. The thing I love about Swisstrax is there are so many colors to choose from and you can make your own custom pattern. There's an online configurator. I know the classic beautiful garage is the epoxy floors, which do look nice, but I have to say, with my luck, whoever installs it will probably mess it up, and maybe some hot tire will lift it up and then they'll have to come patch it and whatnot. Plus, what I like about the Swisstrax is dirt kind of goes into the cracks and disappears. And if you really hate that and you want to clean that up, you can always pull up large sections or just individual tiles if there's an oil spill or something. It's super convenient, and the best part is you can take it with you if you ever move. Just pull it on up and install it in the new garage. Now I went with the lightest gray there was because I quickly realized that the blacks and such really show footprints and things like that. So the less dark colors you have, probably the easier it is to keep it looking clean. A lot of people go with the black as well as the medium gray, I forgot the color, but I went with the lightest gray outside of white. The other major step we did since the last video is the lighting. These are 6 fixtures with 4 LED bulbs in them each. They're standard fluorescent fixtures, but they don't have ballasts. What's awesome about this is these put out about 68,000 lumens and only burn about little over 4 watts of power, and they definitely fill up the garage well. If you're worried that this is too much lighting, it really isn't. It's just fine. Now you may consider doing maybe 2 switches to control halvesies, but this is working out really great. Just make sure you install the lights with the blank side facing down, otherwise then it's too much. It'll give you a headache right away. Now for YouTube, I like to control my lighting, so I may end up doing something like installing individual switches on each of these so I could turn off different zones, but otherwise I'm liking it. If I had the opportunity, I would probably go with the Cree linear lighting system in the future, but I had already bought these before I found out about those. Now you saw the video with the garage cabinet debacle where they were delivered to the wrong address. That was so much fun. But they're here, they're finally here and put into place and filled to the brim with stuff. Organized really well, I think. I'm really happy with it. I want to tell you about the Husky heavy-duty welded system. These turned out to be great. I know they're not the $15,000 or $20,000 cabinets that some people want to do like on Obsessed Garage, but these are certainly a luxurious upgrade for me compared to stuff I've had in the past. You buy a set generally, but you can buy individual pieces as well. And when you go to Home Depot and you look at a set, don't stop there. There's actually many different combinations. This one originally came with 3 cabinets, 1 5-drawer system like this, and a cabinet with a single drawer. And then it was optional to have a top, and of course had these big towering cabinets all as part of it. Now I had a plan for the garage and I knew that that would work out for me, but I also needed an extra piece. So I ordered a second 5-drawer unit. So instead of having this cabinet here, I have 2 sets of drawers, and I think the drawers are a better storage solution. I found these to be great. They were easy to put together. The cabinets all have soft closing features, and if you like, you can just add these little lights from Amazon. They're motion sensor lights, and they work really great at filling up the cabinets for lighting. Mounting these to the wall was very easy. And these I've also bolted to the wall. I've got a concrete ledge down there, otherwise they would have been a few inches off of the wall. So instead I set them on that rear ledge, and the front legs, I inserted new bolts to make the legs longer to support them, because this is pretty heavy, full of tools, and you don't want it toppling over or just trusting that the wall is holding them. And a big tip is these drawer ones, they actually have a big 25-pound weight mounted to the bottom, and that is for stability, of course, when they're not bolted to the wall. I already removed those just to make them a little lighter and easier to install here. I love that they came with under cabinet lighting with a nice hidden switch here. It's very convenient, and even though I have so much light in the garage, this really does make a big difference. Now, normally you would have a 3rd cabinet there, but it turns out a 32-inch TV fits perfect there, and I found this shorter Vizio soundbar with subwoofer, and it's working out great. It's not high-level stuff in any way, but it certainly fills the garage space with sound. And, you know, I watch just a little bit of YouTube or something here, or maybe show Spotify on the screen, so it's perfect for me. But make sure when you're planning your garage that you set up outlets appropriately for those things. I wish I would have had an outlet down below here, because I do have a power strip down there, but instead I'm going to have to route it through the wood and plug it in right here. Everything feels really sturdy. I love the soft closing drawers, and there's plenty of space. I've had an opportunity to organize my tools, spread them out a little more than what I had before, and that just gives me a little more breathing room and space to grow. Down here at the bottom is a really important drawer. This is the small parts bins. And I bought a lot of these. These are all Husky brand, and I organized everything I had. I used to have one of those things where you pull the little drawers out, and I wanted to get that out of sight. And so now they're all organized in these individual boxes, some for small parts, some for medium parts, and some for bigger parts, and they fit great in this bottom drawer. I couldn't believe how much I fit in here. All right, so let's take a look around the garage and just see how things are laid out, maybe give you some ideas for your garage. All right, over here near the entrance of the garage is the detailing area, because you wash your car in the driveway and you want that stuff close by. So we've got one wall here that I still need to put some waterproof panels to prevent any water staining on the drywall, but this is eventually going to be a wall-mounted permanent pressure washing station. But even for now as it is with my cheap Sunjo, it's really working out well. Over here, this is the 3rd cabinet that I told you about. It's here and it holds all my detail sprays and other supplies. And down here is that other cabinet that came in the set. So instead I ordered that 5-drawer and I moved this one here, and it has my polishing stuff as well as my towels available. The larger cabinets that come with the Husky welded cabinet system are really great. They hold so much more stuff than I ever expected. It got so much stuff off the ground and into the cabinet, well organized. I couldn't believe how much they hold. And pro tip here, hide your vacuums. I think it's an eyesore in the garage unless you have one of those nice wall mounted ones, but I was able to put it in here. We have adjustable shelves with one soft close drawer for smaller items. Don't forget to hang art in your garage. It helps really make it feel a little more of an inside space. Thanks to my dad for sending me this awesome Cadillac vintage page from like Time magazine or something. I've added many outlets throughout the garage, some with USB ports, and it's been really helpful, including some here on the ceiling near the garage door opener. This one is for the garage door. Don't forget the details like tying up the cables and making them look really neat, as well as painting the supports so they blend into the ceiling. I got another outlet here that's good for adding maybe electrical, like an extension cord reel or something. But ultimately, the best thing is to get rid of this kind of garage door and put a mounted one right up here that is shaft driven, and then you can get this off the ceiling. Maybe I'll do that in the future. I originally put an outlet above the TV because I thought I'd have the cabinet there to sort of hide it, and I would just be putting some Bluetooth speakers back there. But instead, yeah, it becomes a bit of an eyesore now. I wish it was a little lower, but I did bring in wired Ethernet so I could have the best data connection because Wi-Fi kind of sucks out here. Over here in this corner, I've got my floor jack, as well as my quick jacks, which if you don't have quick jacks, you should definitely get them. I can't put a lift in here. I've got pretty short ceilings. I can almost touch the ceiling. So a lift isn't gonna happen, but these are great. They'll lift your whole car up in one shot, about 18 inches up. And this is really important, especially with the Porsche, which has limited jack points. But storing them is important too, because you don't want them just laying on the floor. Now, Quick Jack sells some of their own hooks, but they are ugly. These, I got the idea from Andrew at 911 South. Check out his YouTube channel if you like Porsche stuff. These are like wheelbarrow hangers from Lowe's, and they fit perfectly, plus they're black and beautiful. The best thing to do though is to hide your hoses and your power pack in a cabinet all pre-connected, so you just pull the hoses out and connect, but I don't really have that option, so my power pack is hiding down below the stool here, and the hoses, I found this is a great hanging solution. These are the tool holders you can buy at Home Depot, I think by Everbuilt, and they hold the hydraulic connections pretty well. Over here is my cabinet of dirty little secrets. It's more like just dirty stuff, right? It's my dirty coveralls for dirty jobs, oil change, brake fluid change. There's sanding stuff, painting stuff. Again, these storage cabinets are awesome. By the way, these doors, they're not soft close though, but they are great. And the same thing, I hung it on the ledge in the back and got some extended legs for the front. The tire wall is an important space for me here. I've got all the stock wheels for the Cadillac here. These are helpful because the Cadillac doesn't have a spare tire, so I end up using these anytime my rims get damaged or I have a flat tire. And these are the track wheels for the Porsche. The jack stands I'll probably eventually hang right here on the wall. I've got my old Harbor Freight air compressor here, and I just picked up this reel from Harbor Freight. There's a lot of reels out there. Cox reels apparently are the best, but around 300 bucks. That's a lot. This is about 100 bucks. The only thing is the hose I hear has a bad reputation, but I've got a better hose I'm gonna install into that. It's really important to properly plan your garage, and you'd be surprised how many things will get you, and a few things still got me. But you know, like over here, this is open space for a reason, and it's the same on the other side of the garage because you want to be able to have room to open your car doors. This isn't a place to store stuff. In fact, I really would have preferred having the tires stacked above each other here and having this one higher and this one maybe down here, but you can't bring these up any higher because the garage rail is here. So that's something you got to consider. Or if you want to put a cabinet over here, those doors won't open because the garage rail. So many things to think about. Not only that, but you also want to think about blocking. That is wood supports behind the drywall. I did a lot of that in this garage, but there were still places where I was like, dang, I should have done more. But one thing I did think about, if you remember, there was a window right here, but now I have room to store the tires and put that big storage cabinet and keep everything nice and organized. With the window there, I wouldn't have been able to do that. One thing I definitely didn't think about was sound. maybe that doesn't matter to you, but as a YouTuber, I need this to be quieter. And the walls are insulated, but that doesn't prevent sound from reflecting off of all these hard surfaces. So I'm gonna have to be adding some sound panels up here. And often when I record, I lay a carpet down to help with the sound. You don't see it on the camera, but believe me, it makes a difference. Now there's so many things to think about, and honestly this is a beautiful garage and it looks organized, and you're probably thinking, well, what about my kids' toys and my bicycle and the lawnmower? And you know what, you're totally right. There's no way to do this and make it look nice when you have all that stuff. The best thing you can do is organize well, have a shed for some of the dirty stuff like the lawnmower and the tools. And what about other storage? Well, I don't have an attic space, I don't have a shed, and so thankfully I have this lofted section and we had platforms built up there. So I've got all the extra, flooring pieces, the Swisstrax pieces, I've got car parts up there and paint, and I've got another platform on the opposite side storing more stuff, hopefully to get rid of some of that stuff. But you really do need to think about that. Otherwise, your garage is never gonna feel this open and clean and organized with all those things sitting around. I mean, even having the jacks on the floor and the power washer, they don't make me happy. So now with the garage door open, it's definitely a different audio experience. But yeah, that is my attainable dream garage. I think it's pretty nice for a 2-car garage. It's a really great space that I love coming into. It feels open, bright, it doesn't feel dingy and dirty, and I think the cars like it too. So if you have any tips on how I could organize better or things I could have in the garage, let me know. Comment below, and in general, I'd love to hear your feedback about the garage. And if you want to check out the rest of how all this came together, be sure to check out the playlist in the description below. If you like the series, please hit that like button. It really makes a difference to the channel. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell to be notified of future videos. I got the Porsche track wheel and suspension setup coming, more mods on the Cadillac, and other fun videos on the way. You'll want to see those. All right, thanks so much for watching the Jet Fueling channel. We'll see you next time.